Hi friends, and welcome to layout number 2 of our Cape Cod Creative Design Studio. This layout is so much fun, and you're going to see that I reworked this layout quite a bit. I love the colors and I love that let's go overlay, but I really didn't like the photos behind it. So you can feel free to add photos behind it, but you're going to see that I added flip flaps in mine in the lower left-hand corner of the left layout rather than the photos behind. On the right-hand side, I also reconfigured the photo mat so that I could add an additional photo in. Keep in mind that you can pause these videos at any time, complete a step, and then continue watching. Let's get started. The first thing is we're going to start with the Let's Go die cut. You'll see here that I'm going to add the Let's Go Lagoon letters on top of the die cut here, and my liquid adhesive was out. I had to go get another one, so you'll see me switch that out here, and then the next one comes out just a little too fast, so I use my finger to spread it around a bit. I'm using the liquid adhesive here because it gives you a little bit of time to move the letters around to make sure they're straight versus having to pull them all up. So you can just move them around a little bit with the liquid adhesive. It's a little bit more forgiving, and you see I'm got my little all-purpose mat under there because I'm making a little bit of a mess with that adhesive squeezing out around the edges there. I turned it over to make sure that I wasn't getting adhesive on the other side, and then I grabbed another little piece of all-purpose mat that I have that's a little bit bigger, which helped out a little bit more here. So we're going to go ahead and put those letters down. You see we're doing them backwards, right? So that we're putting the adhesive on the back. So what has everybody been up to lately? Tell us in the comments below what your favorite thing is that you've done so far this summer. I've had a bunch of retreats, which has been super fun. And last week we had our convention, the Close to My Heart virtual convention, which was super exciting. And I was able to get together with some other consultants. Barbara and I both were. I'm so thankful that Barbara organized the weekend for some consultants to get together and have a great time watching convention. So that was super exciting, and there are so many great new things coming you are absolutely going to love. And every time that we think, what could Close to My Heart come out with even better, or what are they going to come out next time, they always do. When you're putting these letters down, be careful because some of them only go a certain way. So I almost put them down wrong. So be careful how you're putting them in there. So there, now we have those done, and we're ready to move on to the next step of our layout. I started to try to clean up some adhesive that I had there, but I realized that I needed to let it dry first. It wasn't quite dry enough. As I mentioned earlier, I don't plan to put photos under this die cut as they did in the sample guide here. So if you want to put those photos underneath it, you'll want to not adhere this down yet until you are ready with your photos. But instead, I did flip flaps. So we are going to adhere this piece down to this glacier cardstock, which was an extra cut item that you needed. We're going to glue that down to the glacier cardstock. Again, if you want to add the pictures underneath this die cut, don't glue it down now. Now that we have that adhered down, I did a little cleanup with the adhesive and we are ready to move on. Just like I did in layout number 1, we're going to use that large X on our Versamat. We're going to line up this piece on the corners of the X so we know that this is in the center. Typically, I would use a little washi tape here, but I didn't have my washi tape handy. It was still packed in my car from my retreat, so I just used a little bit of tape. It just helps so it doesn't move. I'm lining up the white daisy over the top, and when I turn this over, you'll see it's going to be nice and center, and I will be able to pull out that little piece of tape at the bottom, which I see I'm slightly off camera as I did that. Now I'm just making sure that everything is adhered down good and cleaning up any excess adhesive. And we are ready to start embellishing. So that half circle that we sprayed is going to go down here under the go. I'm just judging where my flip flaps are going to be over there, because remember, I didn't put them under that die cut. I'm going to put the flip flaps on top of. We've got the die cut here, and we are just going to embellish this layout. The other thing that you may notice that I do is that I follow the guide for the most part for the embellishment. Sometimes I move things around a little bit to accommodate different things. However, when I'm done with the layout, with all my layouts, I go back and I look at what stickers and embellishments I have left, because why not just add them in? So you may notice sometimes that my completed projects may have a little bit more embellishment on them than you see during my video, but I've just added them in. Why not use up what we have? Because let's be honest, once we put it away and we forget about it, right? And then those last little pieces don't get used. I had to go grab my scissors, and I also grabbed my little all-purpose mat here. I've got these 2 stickers, these banner stickers. I'm going to remove the sticky from them, and I'm actually going to cut them down a little bit. That's why I was going to get my scissors. You'll also notice that I put some of the powder from the anti-static pouch onto my all-purpose mat there. Your stickers don't stick to that, but having that powder there is another easy way to just rub your stickers in it so that you remove the sticky, so that you're not getting the powder all over your layouts or everywhere else. Okay, so I'm just figuring out how I'm going to place these stickers and adding them in. And let's not forget this arrow that we also did the splatter on, right? Super fun. That's going to go in there. And our palm tree, all the little embellishments down here in this cluster. It's always good to put your embellishments in a cluster, because then they're grounded. If you just put an embellishment here, an embellishment there throughout your layout, they're not grounded or anchored to something. So we're creating a cluster of embellishments to create a focal point. And I made sure that we're going to add in our flip flaps, but we're going to do that later. So we'll be back. I knew I wanted to change this side up a little bit, so off camera, I laid this out so that we could add in an extra photo mat. So you'll see here that this is just set here. It's not adhered down, and now I'm starting to adhere down the pieces. When I start to adhere down these photo mats, I start with the right lower first and then do the left lower. That way, it's easier to line up the one in the middle. This is our second month of trying this new format to shorten up the videos so that they are a little bit easier to watch, and also it makes it a lot easier for Barbara and I to edit and upload them. The larger videos just struggle to upload. But keep in mind that you can pause this video at any time, complete a step, and then replay again. So now that we put down that lagoon piece up in the upper right hand corner, we are ready to work on this cluster of embellishments. There is the large die cut circle and then some sticker embellishments here to make this cluster. I'm going to add the 3D foam tape on the back of this large embellishment here, the wild and free, just like the sea. And when I put it down, I am going to make sure that my adhesive does not go over the photo mat. You'll notice here I played for a minute with that circle before I decided where to put it. And then I just started building this cluster. We've got the die cuts. What's cool about that, oops, there's a sticker stuck there. What's cool about that is that they say on the back, layout 2, so you know just where to put them. And you'll see I'm like, something's not quite right here, but I just decided to leave it. I wanted that blue circle out a little bit more, so I really shouldn't have tucked it under that photo mat. I also strategically placed my adhesive behind that sticker with the umbrella so that it was not covering the photo mat, and I can still stick my photo under there. So fun. I love how this turned out. I actually snagged a couple of these ideas for these layouts that I'm doing from my upline Dana. So we've got a little bit of the workshop, a little bit of my own ideas, and even a few ideas from my upline Dana. So it all comes together, and I love the fact that we were able to add in an extra photo mat here on this layout, and I think it looks much more balanced than just having all your photo mats down the right hand side. So look at how fun this is. I decided that I needed to add this beach lover in over on the left hand side. So fun. We're going to add our flip flaps on the left side, as well as, you can add any flip flaps onto any photo mat you want to add even more pictures. I can't wait to add photos to this. I think I might add Hawaii. Tell us in the comments what you plan to use these layouts for. So it's bright and sunny this morning, and that funny line you're getting through the layout there is actually my camera stand is getting a little bit of shadow from the sun, but nonetheless, you can still see the layout just fine. The next thing that I'm going to do here is add some shimmer brush to the sea. I had to grab a new clear shimmer brush because mine was empty, so I thought here I would show you how you start a new shimmer brush. Though it's important to pull that little yellow ring out. That is just for transporting so that it doesn't leak everywhere. When you pull that out and screw the lid back together, it pierces the well, which then allows your shimmer brush to work. The next important thing when you have a shimmer brush is to not unscrew the lid when you're ready to use it. You want to pull it straight up, right? And then I'm going to get it started on a piece of scrap paper, or here I'm going to start it on my Versamat. So I know that this is going to be well juicy, so it's going to add lots of shimmer to our sea here, but that's exactly what I wanted. So you don't want to oversaturate your paper so that it gets all wrinkly, but I did want to add a lot of shimmer to this word sea. And normally you don't have to keep squeezing your shimmer brush, but because I wanted this really shimmery, you'll see I keep squeezing it off onto my all-purpose mat, not over my project, so that I don't make a mess of it. That allows it to be extra shimmery. Are you ready? Look at how pretty this shimmer is. It sparkles like diamonds. Oh my goodness, I love, love, love it. The last thing that we are going to do is actually back on the left-hand side, we are going to add our flip flaps. You need 3 4x6 flip flaps, and I'm lining the bottom one up to the bottom edge of that die cut, so that striped piece there. And then I'm just layering them in, and you're going to notice that I didn't judge it quite right and they weren't really centered. So I picked the middle one up and adjusted it. Okay, so the top one I put just to the top of that white strip, and this one I put in the middle, and I went, oh, that's not quite right. So I adjusted it. Now keep in mind, when you place flip flaps, you don't really want to remove it and re-add it, because then you do get a bit of a line there underneath your flip flap. So if I had a photo under it, it wouldn't be as smooth. You'd see the flip flap line. You can see how it's not quite as smooth under there. But since I didn't have a picture, I didn't mind doing that. So now we have our 3 flip flaps here and a super fun waterfall technique. I hope you have enjoyed layout number 2, and I look forward to seeing you in layout number 3.